Welcome to The Right Focus, a podcast for writers, newbies, and veterans, and everyone in between. We're hosted by M.A. Lee with the assistance of Remy Black and Edie Rooms, all from Writers Inc. Books. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Each episode lasts as long as it takes to fix a quick dinner, drive a short commute, or take a brisk walk. Resources and links are in the show notes. Visit us at therightfocus.blogspot.com. Now, on to this week's episode. We're continuing our Easter series combined with writing as we seek more. Black Saturday. What is the key to Holy Saturday? The church is bare, the altar blackened, all hope entombed with Christ. Black Saturday is the vigil before Easter's resurrection. After the Crucifixion, the black veil is removed from the altar cross, for Christ is brought down from the 300-pound cross that the Sanhedrin and the Romans intended to be his failure. They didn't know the key, though. The crucifixion and the tomb are the beginning of his triumph. Christ holds three keys: the key to heaven, Matthew 16:19, and the keys to hell and death, Revelation 1:18. On Black Saturday, Christ descended into hell in what is often called the harrowing of hell. In Acts 2:24, Peter preached that God released him from the horrors of death and raised him back to life because it was impossible for death to keep its hold on him. This is supported by Romans 6:9. Knowing that Christ be raised from the dead dieth no more, death hath no more dominion over him. Then in Ephesians 4:9 we are told, now that he ascended, what is it? But because he also descended first in the lower parts of the earth. 1 Peter 3:18-20 tells us that Christ suffered for our sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring us to God. He was put to death in the body, but made alive in the spirit. After being made alive, he went and made proclamation to the imprisoned spirits. We also learn in 1 Peter 4:6 that Christ descended to hell. For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to them that are in the flesh, but live according to God in the Spirit. These are the faithful dead, in long expectation of the Messiah, freed now from that captivity. All of these bits on Christ's descent into hell can be understood better with a little information about hell itself. First, hell is also known as the Greek Hades. The place has more than one part. The Old Testament word Sheol is the common place of the dead, the so-called limbo of the fathers, the abode of the Old Testament faithful waiting in expectation for the Messiah. Another portion of hell, separate to this limbo, is called Gehenna, currently uninhabited. Gehenna is the outer darkness, a lake of eternal fire where the condemned will be placed after the final judgment. Christ's descent into hell for the harrowing is often removed from modern versions of the Apostles' Creed. That little phrase, he descended into hell, belongs there right before he ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of God the Father Almighty, from whence he shall come to judge the quick and the dead. That judgment created a scary painting by Michelangelo, his final judgment of Christ, separating those on the heavenly path from those who will descend eternally to hell. Find the link to the painting in the show notes. These three keys to unlock heaven and to lock up hell and death are essential to every believer and follower of Christ, our Messiah. The whole of the Bible tells the coherent story of God's purpose and our key of all we need to know. It is the entire story of God, which we learn in the Bible and which we can discover in part through Matt Papa's 10-minute recitation, the link to which is in the show notes. Please share the story. Tell everyone of God's great love for us. After all he does for us, we reject him in countless ways that we do not even notice. Here's the single key for us. He will never leave us nor forsake us. Hebrews 13:5. Creativity refresh. Number 7. My mind is weird. I know this. I have found ways to cope. One of those ways is to separate the two parts of my writing business. I write fiction and nonfiction. So I separate those two arenas. I guess arena is the best word. The writing I do is fun and serious. That's not dividing into fiction and nonfiction. Both are fun and serious. With writing, I play. I explore. I clarify ideas and thoughts. I research and learn. I teach myself. Maybe I should say realm. Am I the queen of two realms? Not at all. Yet I divide my realm into two areas, districts, fiction and nonfiction. And the districts are separate. Fiction, antique desk with barley-turned legs. Nonfiction, a standing desk. I'm currently at the antique desk, writing nonfiction. Yes, I invaded the district because the nonfiction desk is a total miss. And I don't want to move things because I'm cleaning out and reconfiguring, which has to happen. The fiction desk is also crowded with things. 3 separate stacks not organized, a few things tucked here and there. Over to the right is the next have to, which is run my checking balance, work on my budget, and pay some bills. I should be doing that, but I need a fresh brain when I'm working with numbers. That's first on the list for tomorrow. I need to clean the nest. The messy desk occurs every time I'm winding up a project or a stage of a long project. I can manage to ignore the growing number of items to deal with, but when I reach a completion point, I see my desk and I have to clean them. Removing the detritus and accumulated to start anew, that's the task. The act of straightening and filing away and reorganizing settles our minds. Creativity receives a breathing space, time to step back and reconsider while I make things nice for playtime with the next project or the next stage. When disruptions occur to lengthen out a stage unexpectedly, I can reset by having a cleanup. I start every writing session with a quick cleanup. That simple action settles my mind. Okay, it says, we're getting serious. It's time to settle to work. When we do not have that quick clean, the mental settling as the physical is organized, our minds remain disturbed. We have trouble reaching flow. I will leave my desk before I plan to and not know the reason I've walked away. When I don't reset after a short project, that project lingers. Am I certain I completed every step? Did I do this and that? Why is that still out? Completing a stage also requires an organization. My mind wonders if I'm reaching the benchmarks. Am I progressing? What is the next step? Is everything ready for that next step? Why did I put that here? Ordering the desk and cleaning the nest is preparation, a signal. Here we are. The signal says, the stage is set. Time to perform. As for the clean out and reconfiguration, that all started because I decided to rebuild the website. Yes, I know that's a digital world versus material world, but once my brain said clean out, it started moving with something that had been bothering me for a while. Old work files, old plans that I have recently admitted I will not ever pursue. Why am I keeping those folders? And switcheroos. If I move this here and that there where the old files were, then other things have a new home and won't be crowded. The website rebuild is a slower process but also needed. After 10 years, it needs a fresh approach. So here I am, in the midst of a nonfiction project while I'm working at the fiction desk, a fiction project newly completed and needing to be filed away, a rebuild and a clean out in progress, and slowly everything is coming back into work readiness. And my brain is sparking energy, ready to go. Thanks for listening to The Right Focus, a podcast for writers at all levels, hosted by Emma Lee from Writers Inc. Books, assisted by Renee Black and Edie Runes. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Music is licensed through Audio Jungle, called Background Music Loop. Its creator is Alexander Polishchuk, known on Audio Jungle as Plastic 3. The music comes in different iterations. Show notes and resource links for this and other episodes can be found at therightfocus.blogspot.com. Write to us at winkbooks@aol.com when you have questions, comments, and speculations. We will try to answer you as quickly as possible. By the way, we will not mind your email address. That's rude. If you find value in our content, share with your writing friends or write a review. We're small beans here without the advertising budget of the big peeps, and you can make a difference. And whatever occurs, write on.